Hello, I am Flame, and I'm going to be responding to the prompts in this week's discussion thread on social justice. Your understanding of how cultural humility, cultural awareness, advocacy, and social justice are important in the counseling profession. My understanding is that cultural humility and awareness begins with the counselor's posture. I think it's important for counselors to understand that they may not fully understand or fully know their client's lived experience, but to be respectful and open to learning from their client. Cultural awareness also means paying attention to factors like gender, race, religion, social status, paying attention to how all those things can help shape their client's worldview and their experiences. Being aware of those things can help a counselor to help to try to create a space for their client to feel safe and to feel valued. Advocacy and social justice are also important because it's simply just not enough to know about the client in the session, but it's also important to know about the barriers they face outside of the counseling session and to work to reduce. In our textbook, Simmons explains that counselors are called to be both helpers and advocates. For example, if a client is struggling because they're facing discrimination or they lack access to resources, social justice in that case, in that example, can look like a counselor speaking up about the discrimination and speaking up about the lack of access to resources and even doing something to help connect the client to the resources. From an ethical standpoint, the ACA Code of Ethics highlights the principles of working for the well-being of clients and promoting fairness, which also ties to cultural humility and advocacy. The ACA Code of Ethics also challenges counselors to respect diversity and actively work against bias. That can look like counselors working against their own presumptions about a culture, about a religion, and or asking open-ended questions to try to understand things from their client's point of view. The Bible speaks about social justice in Micah 6:8, which says, "What does the Lord require of you? To act justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with your God." This verse reminds me that cultural humility and social justice are not just professional expectations, but they're also spiritual ones as well. An action I would take to develop or demonstrate cultural humility with my clients is I will work to grow in cultural humility by learning from the communities I serve in. And for me, that will look like attending cultural events, talking to people in the community, and continuing my education in multicultural counseling. An action I would take to advocate, engage in social justice for a client population, I will pay attention to systemic barriers they face and connect them with resources. For example, if a client is struggling with accessing healthcare, I can work to connect them to resources to have affordable healthcare.